Welcome everybody back to Forza Horizon 5, and today we're taking a look at the 2024 Nissan Z NISMO. So this was unveiled in August of 2023, and yeah, it's basically the revised version and sportier version of the standard Nissan Z. So NISMO have done this many a time with Nissan before, because they are basically the same kind of thing that AMG does to their Mercedes-Benz vehicles and the M Division does to BMW. We've already had the likes of the 370Z NISMO on this game already. That was a vast improvement over the standard 370Z, so here's hoping that this is even more of an improvement over the standard Z car. But that said, the standard Nissan Z is still a fantastic car, certainly the best Nissan Z car we've had for quite some time, certainly better than the 350Z and the 370Z. So yeah, this has had quite some improvements on it. As you can see, visually it has been improved and modified, so it's got improved engine cooling and downforce due to a new grille, nose and front / rear spoiler. So obviously the front spoiler and the rear spoiler aren't improving the engine cooling, but they are improving the downforce. As you can see, it's got that extra bit of a chin spoiler on the front there. Then you've got some extra aerodynamic tweaks for the side skirts, and then you've got the full width rear spoiler, which is split into three, so you still have the spoiler bits on the fenders, but you're also not having to lift up the entire spoiler when it comes to opening up the hatch. Twin exhausts, which we've had before, but you've also got new NISMO wheels, as you can see. They say NISMO on them, and they are wrapped up in track-focused tyres from Dunlop. We've also got additional bracing, which strengthens the car up and stiffens it up by about 2.5%. We've got stiffer bushings, larger dampers, upgraded brakes, but this only unfortunately comes with a 9-speed automatic gearbox, which granted does improve the speed at which changes occur, but personally I think a car like this, which is obviously far more driver focused, should have a manual gearbox. But regardless of that, it is going to be a quicker accelerating car with that gearbox. We also have an improved engine as well, but before we get to there, we're going to take a look at the inside. So it's got a revised steering wheel, a revised dashboard. It's also got new Recaro seats, so it's even more body hugging and sporty. But the rest of the interior is mostly the same. There's no massive changes outside of a few tweaks here and there. But it didn't really need it, to be honest, because it is a fantastic interior. Definitely one of the better, two-door coupe interiors out there. But you've still got plenty of room in the rear as well. Yeah, you've got that bracing bar right behind the rear seat, behind the front seats, but unlike on the 350Z, where they had a bracing bar in the rear, it is not covering the whole of the boot space there. So yeah, and it's nice to have a hatch as well on a car like this. But yeah, like I said, engine-wise it has been improved. It's got a redesigned wastegate, enhanced ignition timing, and improved engine and oil cooling systems, which means that this is still a 3-litre twin turbocharged V6 like the standard car, but it now produces 420 horsepower and 384 pounds-feet of torque. So that's 20 extra horsepower and 34 extra pounds-feet of torque, which is nice. But it's needed because this car does actually weigh slightly more, with all of the extra body work that it's got going on and the 9-speed automatic gearbox and the wider tyres. It does weigh 168 pounds more than standard, which means that this now weighs 3,704 pounds. So it's by no means a lightweight, more driver car focused vehicle. It would have been nice for it to be weighing as much as, if not less, than the standard car, but with that extra power and torque, it means that it is actually still a quicker car in terms of acceleration. So yeah, but to see how quick, let's get out onto the open road and see what it can do. Right, here we are once again at the drag strip, so let's see what this car can do before we hit the speed camera, and then we'll get it round. It's it's more track focused, well, the area that it's more been built for, which is obviously the track. So yeah, with that 9-speed automatic gearbox and plenty of torque, this does really get off the line rather nicely. As you can see, it is no slouch despite that extra bit of weight on the side, but the extra horsepower and torque does help offset that and then some. So there's 133 miles an hour, which is pretty damn good, to be honest. And yes, even with the extra power and torque, this car does not feel like it's out of control. In fact, this feels a lot more stable and you know, planted and secure than the standard car. In fact, I do feel that this is a much better handling vehicle. It also feels a bit more agile, and even though it does have that extra bit of weight, you can't really feel it all that much, to be honest. So yeah, I think NISMO have once again pulled off, you know, the trick of making a good car even better, which they did with the 370Z, which was my favourite version of that car. It was their NISMO version. So yeah, let's take a quick look at the stats, if it'll let us get in. There we go. So yeah, we are top end A class, which is pretty much right where the standard car is. As you can see, that was a bit on the low end side of things, but as you can see, stat wise, it is all fairly pretty good, to be honest. There's nothing outstanding that it's doing, but it's all doing it very, very well. So yeah, speed, handling and launch are the best parts of this car. The acceleration and braking are also pretty damn good, and as you can see, in comparison to the standard car, it's marginally better in terms of handling, a little bit better in terms of acceleration and braking, and the launch is quite a bit better as well, primarily because of that 9-speed automatic gearbox. Speed is a little bit down on the downside of things, purely because this does now have more in the way of downforce, which inevitably helps it be better handling, but it also does restrict the top speed slightly, but not by a huge amount or anything like that. And at the end of the day, when are you ever going to be getting up to the kind of speeds that the standard car can get up to? Not often. Even on most tracks you wouldn't get up to those kind of speeds. So yeah, a reduction in top speed is well worth it for how good this car now handles. So yeah, let's, as per usual, hear what this car sounds like, and then we'll talk about it some more. So yeah, I think overall this sounds pretty good. I was a fan of the standard car's engine noise, and to be honest, this sounds pretty much as good, if as that, if not slightly better. Not always a fan of the sounding of a V6 engine. The previous 370Z wasn't any good in terms of engine noise until NISMO got their hands on it, and the original 350Z always sounded pretty dreadful, to be honest. So yeah, it's good that they've finally nailed down the engine noise to a kind of extent where we've got two different versions of this car and both sound pretty good. Acceleration wise, 0 to 60 is dealt with in 4.086 seconds, 0 to 100 is dealt with in 9.584 seconds, and it goes to a top speed of 180 miles an hour. So that's about 0.4 of a second quicker to 60 than the standard car, and just over a second quicker to 100. So yeah, noticeable increase in, well, you know, decrease in acceleration in terms of how long it takes to get to 60 and to 100, but not by a huge, you know, gaping chasm amount. But it is nice to finally have this car get into 100 in less than 10 seconds. Like I said, top speed is on the down low, just because of the increasing downforce, but that at the end of the day is helping make this car as good in terms of handling. And you couple that with the brakes, the stiffer chassis, and the fact that it's still a playful car in the main to play with as well. It still likes to slide out when you want it to. Makes this a very, you know, more capable car. You know, it's more than able to deal with the extra power and torque while also still being fun and a good driver's car in all of the ways that you want it to be as well. The only downside is that gearbox, but here on this game that's not too much of an issue. But I imagine in real life, you know, some people would have preferred that manual gearbox to have stuck around. But I can see Nissan's, you know, logic for it. You know, at the end of the day, you now have an even more powerful, even faster car in terms of acceleration. So why not have a gearbox that can keep up with that extra power and torque? while also providing, you know, better acceleration with that gearbox. So yeah, I imagine the gearbox is adding some of the extra 168 pounds of weight that this is now dealing with, but at the end of the day, it is making it a faster changing car when you want it to be. So yeah, slight downside in terms of being a bit more of a driver-focused vehicle in that regard, but on the upside, you do have better acceleration and quicker gear changes that are no doubt going to be a bit smoother as well. So on the whole, a fantastic vehicle and a marked improvement over the original car, which was hardly a bad car anyway. So the fact that they've found wiggle room to make it even better is, yeah, quite frankly a feat that is worthy of respect. So you can get this vehicle by doing a free race championship in the current festival playlist. Doing that will also give you 5 points, which will also give you those points towards getting the new Bentley Flying Spur, which I've already reviewed. So yeah, basically 2 birds, 1 stone by doing the championship for this car, as then you were only already a quarter of the way through to get to that Bentley. So yeah, well worth getting this car. It's a fantastic vehicle, fantastic driver's car. Looking forward to driving it some more in some races, and yeah, I highly recommend getting it. Nonetheless, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.